Companies at all scales are classic complex adaptive systems. Geoffrey West, from Scale, The Universal Laws of Life, Growth, and Death in Organisms, Cities, and Companies. Scale undermines the foundations of effective action. This is not news to anyone who works in a large organization, and certainly not to anyone who works in government. The immediate and natural response to the problem of scale might be to quit your job, set out on your own or in a small team, and start enjoying a simpler and more productive life. But you would very quickly find that being a solopreneur brings with it innumerable headaches that were abstracted away when you were working in a larger organization. Why we scale. In the words of Peter Drucker, the purpose of an organization is to enable ordinary human beings to do extraordinary things. The fundamental reason organizations tend to grow is people desire to do ever more extraordinary things. This is made possible by economies of scale. This means that organizations that double in size don't necessarily need twice as many accountants or twice as many factories. Great increases in output and revenue don't necessarily require great increases in the infrastructure needed to maintain them. Research by Geoffrey West, summarized in the book Scale, The Universal Laws of Life, Growth, and Death in Organisms, Cities, and Companies, estimates that organizations continue to benefit from economies of scale as they grow, gaining a 10% efficiency with every doubling in size. Organizations also scale to address opportunity and competition. With scale comes resiliency, influence, momentum, and attention. Amazon more than doubled its headcount from 2019 to 1.6 million employees in 2021 to address increased demand and to leverage vertical integration. Extreme scale requires extreme coordination, but even scaling beyond a single individual demands care. The costs of scale. While scale has clear benefits, there are clear challenges and costs as well. This audiobook primarily addresses the challenge of how to enable teams to operate effectively in spite of the very real costs that scale imposes on effective action. To understand how teamwork is impeded by scale, we first need to understand the human costs of scale. The very purpose for which we assemble teams is undermined by the challenge of effectively coordinating them. The human costs of scale. Scale should enable increased capability and leverage, yet most organizations struggle to manage the scale they've created. We often hear things like, "We can't understand what's going on. We can't understand where we should focus. We need to do more with less. We're not aligned. We have too many tools, meetings, dependencies, and interruptions. We have too much technical debt and work in progress, WIP. We spend too much time micromanaging or in the weeds. We're always waiting for something out of our control to happen. We can't retain, leverage, empower our talent. We've always done it this way. That won't work here." There are also indications that something deeper is eroding our ability to act effectively. There are 3 specific human costs brought on by scale: distraction, disorientation, and disengagement. Distraction is a result of the constant interruptions, changing priorities, and demands on our attention. Disorientation occurs from a lack of clarity and alignment toward what matters most. Disengagement occurs when we resign ourselves to treading water without a clear connection to value.